So today we are going to discuss coding decoding. Now, coding decoding questions have always appeared in CET, and generally you will get about 5 to 10 questions depending on, what kind of paper it is. If the paper is more heavily focused on logical reasoning, because generally you will have now, because of sections, you have 75 marks out of 200. But generally you will have 5 to 10 questions. Typically, these questions are of a few types, and we'll be discussing those types as well. Now, there are a few things that you must do before you start with coding decoding questions, because otherwise they take a lot of time if you start looking at each and every element and try and answer. So we have questions where you have options. I have put questions where you don't have options, and we'll see how to tackle them. And there are a few must-do things before you start with coding decoding. So let's see what that must-do is. Now, you will see a lot of people when they go for the test, once they are given those rough sheets, they will start writing A to Z in this manner. So they will write A to M, then start with N and go to Z. And that's how they will write it on the paper. And every time they're solving coding decoding questions, they will try to look at this and then figure out, okay, this is the code and so on. So unless there is a code sheet which is given to you, you're supposed to normally treat the letters as they are in the alphabet. So people write this, and every time they refer, and that is just waste of time. So I don't want you guys to do it. What you can do is, of course, you need to memorize. So A1, B2, C3, D4 till Z26. The advantage is whenever you see a letter, it will just strike you that, okay, this is the position that the letter is on, and that's what I need to write. And that can be used to solve these questions. So A to Z positions, you need to by heart. In case you are somebody who doesn't want to by heart, at least remember A, E, I, O, U. So all position, at least you can remember. So 1, 5, 9, 15, and 21. That is something that you can do in case you don't want to remember the whole thing. The other thing that you can do is remember A to Z in reverse order, and trust me, it won't take a lot of time to do that. So just like Z by X W V U T, you remember till A, and it's very useful from if you really want to solve these problems quickly. Okay, so let's start with some of the easy questions first, and then we'll tackle some of the difficult ones. So try the first two questions. You can let me know the answer to both the questions. Yeah, this one is pretty straightforward. So the answer is, as most of you rightly mentioned, is the first option, which is 2, 1% and 3. Now, so when you have a code which is given to you, then the logic is not related to the position of the letter in alphabet. So in this case, if you look carefully at this, now you have the same set of letters that are used in the codes that are given to you. So you have these codes, and you just have to figure out, okay, what the code is going to be. The other thing is, now there are a lot of questions where the order in which these are written and the order in which this is written is jumbled. So which means that though in this case you have strict position order, so M is 5, O is 1, and so on, it may or may not be true in a few other questions. So in that case, you need to figure out, okay, what letters are common and what numbers are common or symbols are common, and that is how you can find the answer. So in this case, you have, of course, m is equal to 5, o is equal to 1, and so on. The moment you establish that this is how it's going to be, then you don't have to do anything. So instead of writing down what each letter means, you just start with L. So L is here, which is 2. So that is going to be your code, followed by O, which is the second place. So that will be 1. A is going to be the third place here, so which is the percentage sign, and followed by D, which is going to be 3. So that's how you get number option 1 as the answer. For the second question, is it none of these? I think so, because okay, Akash is asking how do we know if it is jumbled or not? So it will not match. Now, for example, when I look at this word and I look at this, okay, D is at the third place, and I have 3 as the position corresponding to it. And here D is first place, and I have 3 corresponding to it. So that is how I know that, okay, it's according to the letter. So D means 3. But if that is not the case, you will have, let's say if you have something like model, but instead of that you have 213 hash 5, and here is written as something like 8 percentage 3 and hash. Now looking at this, of course, then you know that D is not what it is, because D can't be 3, because D is in the first place here, and first place you have 8. So that will give you an idea that, okay, this is not what it is. Then you look for common elements and then see. Of course, in this you can't establish anything because you have D common, E common. So then you have D and E as 3 and hash. So you at least know that, okay, the set of D and E have this number and this symbol, but then you can't proceed from there. Okay. Next one again is very similar. So W is 5. I look at the first place and that will give me the answer. So I just need to code now. So H is going to be H is okay, the second letter. So it's going to be asterisk, followed by you have 9. Then you have N, which is 7, and then you have the dollar sign, which is K. So again, none of these. Now, so since we are solving this now in detail, we are looking at I'm figuring out the entire code. But while attempting the paper, I'll not be doing those things. So the moment I see that, okay, the first thing is asterisk, or I'll look at the last thing, which is dollar, I'll look for these in the option. I'll not get into coding. So no dollar sign, no dollar sign, no dollar sign, no asterisk, and that is how I'll mark 5 as the answer. Okay, especially when you have a lot of things to code, it's advisable that you go to options and then see what you need to look at. Try these two. Okay, I think all of you have got it. I mean, I can see a lot of you have written 1 as the answer. So let's see, this is simple rearrangement. So GOAL written as GOAL. So I simply need to write SEND in that manner. So it will be SE. Then we are going to the first place, so N, and then we are coming to the third place, which is D. So NSDE will be my answer. The next one, again, very simple. So here either you can, so avoid writing the letters, the position of the letters, unless it is something that you need to do. So in this case, I know that M and O is, they're very close to each other, P, Q, R. So that is what my logic is, M, N, O. So one letter in between. PQR. So one more letter in between. DEFGHI. So I just need to go RU. So OPQRSTUVW. So the answer is going to be TW. Okay, again, all of you have got it right. The answer is 5. Now, let's see how we can quickly solve this. So, the first thing that I'll start with, of course, is P. Now, P is coded as O. So, which means that if I'm going from A to Z, I have O to P. And if I'm going again A to Z, then I have R to S. So, this is just the next letter and the previous letter. So, it's more like -1 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 and so on. So the only thing that I need to do is I have these letters to be coded. So I know that the first is going to be -1. Next is very simple. So it's going to be HIOPQRS. So I need to have I and S. So this is out. Even this is out. So I'm left with these. And now I need to go one step back. Okay. So this is going to be N. This is going to be K. And this is going to be V. So the answer is going to be 5. So in this case, probably your Z to A in the reverse order, if you remember that, that will help you. Because then you can go Z, Y, X, W, V, and so on. Okay, next one. So next one is also pretty similar to this, the question that we saw. So you have Chetan here and it's written as FEH. So either if you want to write codes, then you can, but then not really required. So C, D, E, F, so +2, and H, you need to come 2 steps back. So E, F, G, H, so 2 letters in between. So 2 letters in between plus side, 2 letters in between in the reverse order. So that's how you need to go. Now, if you start from U, again, here I'm not, I'll start writing the normal ones first. So I need to go 2 steps ahead, right? So TUV, NOPQEFGH. So that is how my letters are going to be. And then I need to come through to skip 2 letters in between and come back. Okay. So that will give me R, STU, A, BCD, and O, PQR. So VRQAHO. That is my answer. Okay. I could have stopped at this stage probably because when I got V, Q, and H, I can eliminate this, I can eliminate this, I can eliminate this. And especially works if you have limited time, you can probably go with one because there's no point trying to figure out if it is one or none of these. Of course, there will be cases where it is none of these just to trick you, so they've given you four options. But more often you will have the answer somewhere in the first 4 options. So if you are in a time crunch situation, then definitely go for the option elimination. So yeah, Akash, to answer your question, in case of none of these, yes, you have to solve it. But again, depends on how much time you have. So you need to take that call whether you can take that risk or not. Okay. So let's come to another question type, which is again fairly common. So in this, you have some nonsensical words, and then you have some sensible words. So there are codes which are given, and then you have to figure out, okay, which code is for what letter, what word. Okay, so give it a try. Yes. So in this one, you will be looking for the codes that are common and the words that are common. So especially since you are solving this on screen, where it is a little difficult for you to write down everything that is written. So don't really get into writing on your book, ne, pe, le is what is this, and so on. So start looking for the commonalities immediately. So in the first one and the second one, I have ne, pe, le, and I have bole se. So I know that, okay, le is common. That is the only thing that is common. So I have another word which is common. Now, what is this? So is common. So lay is. In the second and third, do we have anything common? We have bole, say, and say, need, be. So say is common. Again, one thing common. So that is always something that is very easy to figure out. That was easy. So say is going to be that. Now, once you get this, the only thing that you need to crack is that okay. So this okay, which is remaining, is going to be the one which is not part of the commonality. So lay and say is already common. So that's how you get okay as bo. Now, as we saw in the previous question, again you have some words. So EW, XA, HU, DE, and that means she is eating apples. So you start looking for commonalities. So she is eating apples and she sells toys. The word she is common. So when you have she common, you will have another code which is common. So EWXA. Now EW is common, which means she stands for EW. So now you have this, which is she and apples, right? So she is of course EW. So you have got one part of the answer. The other thing that you need to find is they. So they is common between this code and this code. The other one is not common. So UT and LI is not common. And the common word is apples, right? So apples is going to be DE, and that's how you get EW and DE as the answer. Oh, Akash is saying, I thought we have to find code for and also. Okay, in that case, it would have been cannot be determined because you don't have and anywhere, right? So you can't really determine that. Okay, moving to the next one. So this is another question type where you have codes, you have letters and codes, okay, and there will be some conditions which you need to follow. So in this case, you have the group of letters is to be coded with the number codes. The condition which is given to you that if the first or the last letter or both in the letter group are a vowel, then the same is are to be coded by symbol hash. Okay. So now you just need to figure out what will be the code for the one that is given at the bottom of the slide, which is EHNDJV. So again, when you have options, it becomes very simple to do because you start with E, which is a vowel, so that is going to be hash, and then you have are ending with V, so that is going to be 8. So your answer is going to begin with hash and ending with 8, and then you can quickly eliminate options that don't satisfy that. Okay, so what will be the answer? Yeah, all of you have got it right. It's going to be hash 42398. Okay, so E is going to be hash because it's a boy, and followed by 4. You will have 2, 3, 9, and 8. Uh, okay, somebody saying I didn't understand the question. So what you need to do is these letters that you have, you need to look for these letters in the letters which are given, and then correspondingly these are the codes that are there for each of the letters. So you need to figure out, okay, what the code for this whole thing will be, and the only condition that is given to you is if the first is a vowel, so either it is A, E, I, O, U, then you will have to code it as hash. Okay, let's go to the next one. Same set. Yeah, another straightforward question. So you don't have to do anything because you don't have vowels. So K is going to be 7, followed by 6, followed by 3, followed by 9. Then you have 2, and then you have 4. So that is going to be your answer. Next one. Yeah. So since you have condition only on the beginning, the first letter and the last letter, that is the area where you need to concentrate. So that will be your starting point while answering the question. So look at, okay, A and E, so both are vowels, which means it's going to be hash and hash. So straight away you can eliminate. If you have options which don't have hash in the beginning and end, you can eliminate those. And then you just have to code J, N is 2, then V is 8, and Q is 6. So hash and 9286 hash will be your answer. Let's go to the next one. No, first of all, you will look at the question and that will make you understand whether it is the logic is letter based or not. So in this case, you have META, so which is S hash 7 and 5. I also have 7 and 5 occurring in the second code. So that's how I'll check whether it's letter based. So TA is 7 and 5 in the word metamorphosis. Even in rotation, the third and the fourth letter is TA, which is 7 and 5. So that's how I get that, okay, this is how it is. Now, if this is a standalone question, then of course you have to solve. So if the question is only that, okay, this is how it's coded, what is the code for portrait? Then you will, of course, figure out what it is going to be. But then if you have some 4 or 5 questions based on this type, instead of finding individually that, okay, I'll solve portrait first, then I'll go to animation and then solve animation and so on, what you can do is solve all of them at one go. So for example, what you can do is you can just write this down. Okay, and then you have animation, and then you have promise. So you can do this if you have more than 2 or 3 words, because that becomes easier to do than solving each of them individually. So the first thing that I look at is, okay, TION is simply repetition of this. Okay, so in this word, I can do TION as 7. So T is 7, which means wherever I have T, I'll start putting 7. This is I. Then we have asterisk. So asterisk is I. Do we have it anywhere? Yes, we have it here. We have it here. Okay, we have it here. Then you have O, which is coded as at. Then you have at here. You have 2 here as N. So that will be 2. Do we have it anywhere? No. Okay. So then P is question mark. Do we have P anywhere? Yes. R is number 6. So 6, 6 done. R is 6. Again, this will depend on the question. So there might be questions where you don't have to do this if it is a standalone question. What is the code for M? M is S, I believe. Yes. So S. What is remaining now? Code for S, which is 4, and E is hash. So look at the question, look at how much effort you need to put, whether you have options that you can eliminate and then answer this question, and so on. So how you approach will completely depend on that. But if you have, say, 5 things, and instead of doing it individually, put them write all of them once, and then start coding whatever letters that you see. Right, all of you got it right. It's letter. Now, don't write down codes, individual codes, and what they stand for. So you need to find what is the which of the following is coded as Ra. So the first thing that you will do is look for commonalities. So let's see wherever you have Ra. So you have Ra here, here, and here. So even the corresponding word has to be there at all 3 places. So the was black, of course, they are not there in these two. So if you look at the was and black, they are not common. The only thing that is common is letter, which means letter is Ra. Let's look at the next one. What is code for black? So we have already established that letter is Ra. So now you will start eliminating the other ones. So you have to eliminate other possibilities. Now letter box not in, these 2 sentences, if I consider, I know box is common, right? So the word that is common is Joe, which means that is out. Okay, not in. So letter box not in. If I look at this and this, then I have co as common. So co is going to be not. Now for black, I need not do all this. If I want to find something else, then I'll have to do it. Because here the letter was black. Now the word black doesn't appear anywhere else in any of the codes. Okay, which means that it is going to be a unique word. So I need to see if in any of the codes I have repetition. So I have Z and Z here. I have Ra, which is already letter. Then I have, is Sa common with anything else? Do we have Sa anywhere? Yes, we have Sa in the first code. So Sa and Sa is out, which means the only one which is left is going to be the code for black. So that's how you get day as the answer. Let's look at the next one. Yeah. What is the code for in? Did we solve it in the last one? Yeah, we have established that letter is Ra, box is Jo, not is Ko, and that's how in will be Mo. Okay, so the answer for this question is going to be Mo. Somebody has asked a question in chat that do we need to write it individually as the question is a long one in rough? No, not at all. Don't start writing the question the way it appears on screen. You just write the commonalities. So you eliminate possibilities and write down what can be the code. Okay. So for this question, the in question we established in the previous one. So we looked at two things at one time and figured out what was common, and then removed that to get in, which is the fourth statement, and that's how we got move as the answer. Yeah, the last set for the day. So you have three conditions now. Instead of we had a question where you had only one condition. Now we have three conditions. So just be careful. This will happen even in CET because not every letter will have the same spacing, the place, the position that it occupies. So M is 5, D is 6, R is hash. So hash doesn't appear exactly below R, but that's how it is. So P7, A8, T1, W at E dollar, I2, F percentage, H3, and then again it's exactly below. Okay. So the first one is TUKDIP. So code for T is 1. Now you will check whether they are violating any condition or not. So first is a consonant and last is also a consonant. So you don't have anything there. So T is going to be 1. U is going to be the copyright symbol. K is going to be 4. D is 6. I is 2. And P is 7. So that will be your answer. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Yeah, so these were the codes. So you will have what we need to code is EFDMKA. Solve it here only. EFDMKA. And now you have the first and the last is the vowel, so you'll have to make it asterisk. So that is, if you have options, then you can quickly eliminate some of the options. FDMK, that will be coded as percentage. So F is percentage. In the next one, I think there is a small typo. That's why I'm solving on this slide. So P is 7 and F is percentage. That's why I can see a lot of you have given asterisk 7 as the answer. DMKA. So D is going to be 6, M is going to be 5, and K is going to be, where is K? K is going to be 4. So asterisk percentage 654. Okay. Try the last one. I'll give it to you. APWTUH. So just be a little careful with the instructions, because if you remember the instructions clearly, then you'll be able to answer this. Now APWTUH. So first is a vowel, the last is a consonant. So this is condition 3, that if first is a vowel and the last is consonant, both are to be coded as the code for the consonant, which means that the first place and the last place, you will code it as what the code is for that consonant. So the consonant in this case is H, code for H is 3. So it will start with 3, it will end with 3. And then you have P, W, T, U in between. So P, W, T, and U. Okay, so that's how your code will appear. Okay, so these questions are fairly straightforward, except the ones that we saw in the beginning. So the question that we saw, these ones where you have, yeah, so these can get very tricky sometimes. So you may have a question where, let's say you have some 7 letters, and then there is a code corresponding to it. The logic can be something like +1, +2, +3, and so on. Or the logic can be, say, -1, +2, -3, +4, and so on. So you have to be very fast when it comes to writing the position of the letters, and that will give you an understanding of what exactly is going on. Again, eliminating options will always prove to be useful. So don't get into solving each and every code in the last letter. Make sure that you be a little smart and then eliminate options and then figure out what the answer is going to be. Another thing is, as I said, while solving these questions, don't write down everything that you see on screen. Just write common things that are there. You can also use sometimes options to eliminate. So we looked at this question, right? So in this case, the first thing that you get, right? You got EW as the code, which has already eliminated these 2 options. So and again, she and apple. So they are not going to change the order in this case. So you can eliminate even this and then mark 2 and move on, especially if you are in a time crunch situation. So make sure that you practice these questions. And if you have any doubts, if you encounter any difficult question, just feel free to share it. Okay. So that's it from my side. I was expecting this to be a small session and it turned out to be that way. So I'll see you guys in the next session. Thank you. Bye.